Hello everyone, welcome to English Tutorials by Poonam. In this video, I will be discussing a sample project, how to prepare your project portfolio, and what is the correct sequence of the content or sheets to be attached in your project file. So let's get started. Project Portfolio Term 2, Assessment of Listening and Speaking Skills. I have taken the following topic, Impact of COVID-19 on Mental Health, as a sample example to help you understand how to go about it. If you want to know more about the guidelines issued by CBSE and possible topics or themes, you can refer to my other video on ALS project for Term 2, link of which is given in the description box. The project portfolio will include the following. The first sheet will be a cover page, which will include name of the school logo. Here I have used my channel's new logo, title of the project, name or names of the students, class, section, and admission number of the students. You can mention your board roll number also. So, your cover page should look something like this. After the cover page, you have to attach the certificate of completion. It certifies that you have successfully completed your ALS-based project under the guidance of your subject teacher and you have adhered to the timeline specified by the board for the planning, preparation and submission of the project. It will be signed by your school principal. The next page is acknowledgement. The purpose of the acknowledgement is to express your gratitude towards the people who helped you in the completion of your project. Students, if you want, you can copy this as it is. But if you would like to write your own acknowledgement, then you must include expressing your gratitude to your English teacher and your school principal. I have provided you with a sample that you can use as a basis for your own acknowledgement. Next will be index sheet. An index provides a map to a report's content. It is used primarily as a navigational tool with the corresponding page number or numbers for each topic listed alongside. Now we come to the next sheet, which will highlight objectives or aims of your project. Here you have to introduce your topic, its effect, and outline of the entire process from shortlisting of the topic, your research, survey, or interview you conducted, and short introduction about your subjects. You can start your objectives by writing a quotation related to your topic. Here I have used a quote by Albert Einstein. In the middle of every difficulty lies an opportunity. We couldn't agree more with Albert Einstein as the COVID-19 pandemic indeed has taught us a very significant life lesson, that is, to savor each and every moment that life throws at us and how we should make the best out of it. We chose the topic Impact of COVID-19 on Mental Health as the pandemic has taught us that not only physical but mental health is equally important for the well-being of an individual. The objective of doing this project was that we wanted to know how various people of different age groups, classes, gender, etc. took the pandemic and how they coped up with modern issues like anxiety, stress, loneliness, concerns, nerves, etc. COVID-19 has influenced everything right from businesses to economics to physical and mental health of people from all strata. This project has enabled us to obtain an insight into how we can cope up with these issues and how we can be further prepared for the future. We got the golden opportunity to conduct comprehensive research on the basis of interviews of both experts as well as laymen like us. We interviewed a 17-year-old school-going teenager, a 20-year-old college student, a parent who is also a child psychologist, and a practicing psychiatrist for our research so that we could have a diverse viewpoint on all related issues. This project work helped us to learn the method of translating one's views and analysis, listen to the audio-video converse related with the topic, especially video clippings which helped us to achieve certain level of language proficiency. It also helped us to develop listening and speaking skills. On the next page, you can mention the contribution by your team members. For example, Tanu Singh, content collection, typing, discussion with the teachers, peers, execution and compilation. Second team member, Uma Sharma, did editing, typing, discussion with students and experts, execution and compilation. If you want, you can paste your passport size photograph also. Next page will be for action plan, where you will mention different steps you have followed to complete your project, be it consultations with your teacher, experts and peers, and reference to print and visual media. Steps involved will be selection of age-appropriate topic, approval of the topic by subject teacher, finalizing your interviewees, preparing questionnaire, conducting the interview, research, that is data collection through interviews or Google Forms. After that, analysis of data, preparing rough draft, and concluding the project and research. Next page will be questionnaires or interview questions. You have to attach sample questionnaires here so that your subject teacher and examiner come to know or get first-hand idea of what questions were sent to the students or you have asked while conducting your interviews or survey. For impact of COVID-19 on mental health, 3 different questionnaires were used to conduct survey and interviews among 3 different groups. First questionnaire was for teenagers. Few questions asked were: question number 1, how has your experience of making school friends been as a new student during the pandemic? What kind of difficulties did you face? Question number 2, what is the one thing you will miss about online classes and quarantine in general? Question number 3, how do you think socially COVID-19 pandemic posed as an advantage? Question number 4, what is the most important value you learned in last 2 years? Question number 5, a lot of trends and hashtags were taking place during the pandemic period. So did you find these trends useful, helpful, or were they just a waste of time? Question number 6, at any point of time during the pandemic, did you ever feel bouts of anxiety and hopelessness? If so, how did you deal with it? Question 7. What were some of the key challenges that you faced to keep yourself mentally and physically sound? Second questionnaire was for a consultant psychiatrist, and few questions which were included in the questionnaire were: question number 1, what all recreational activities and self-development activities you would recommend for all age groups when living under such restrictions? Question number 2, how do you think the COVID-19 period was for the primary kids or preteens? Question number 3, all of us students have been using social media during lockdown. So what impact do you think it has on the teenagers? Question number 4, social media makes many teens suffer from body image issues and then further they start comparing their lives with others. So how do you think we can avoid it? Question number 5, what are some of the common effects of COVID-19 pandemic on the mental health of children and adults? Question number 6, how can mental disorders and substance use be prevented during the pandemic? For example, such as alcohol intake, caffeine, etc. Third and final questionnaire was prepared for a child psychologist, and questions asked were: online classes makes a student have a constant school anxiety or stress throughout the day. How do you think one can cope up with it? Question number 2, do you think online classes have been beneficial to students in any way? Question number 3, what all recreational activities and self-development activities you would recommend for all age groups when living under such restrictions? Question number 4, we have been having online classes for almost 2 years now. How did you as a parent support your ward during these testing times? Question number 5, how can we cope up with mental stress caused by the pandemic? Question number 6, what suggestions would you as a child psychologist give to overcome the adjustment difficulty a child may be facing after prolonged social isolation due to lockdown? Like this, you can prepare any questionnaire related to the topic you have taken and complete your questionnaire. Next sheet will be report written in 800 to 1000 words. Locked up in the lockdown, Impact of COVID-19 on mental health. It might be stormy now, but the rain doesn't last forever. COVID-19 pandemic has been a tough time for everyone across the globe, but we all need to remember that these testing times shall too pass soon. COVID-19 has changed everything around us, be it our surroundings, our physical, mental, emotional being, our perspective about life in general, and whatnot. However, as Thomas Henry Huxley once said, try to learn something about everything and everything about something. COVID-19 has taught us a lot of things. It has taught us how to be self-reliant, independent, content with what we have, the value of family system, and also the significance of physical and mental health. While being locked indoors and being isolated, earlier people believed that mental health is not as important as physical health, but the pandemic has made us realize that it is just as important as being physically fit and how we need to be attentive towards it. This pandemic gave us an opportunity to reflect upon ourselves, and as a result, mental health became all the more important for all age groups. Throughout the world, an essential modus of preventing from COVID-19 infection has been isolation and social distancing strategies to protect from the risk of infection. On these grounds, since January 2020, various countries started implementing regional and national containment measures or lockdowns. In this backdrop, one of the principal measures taken during lockdown has been closure of school, educational institutions, activity areas, workplaces, etc. This inescapable circumstances, which are being abnormal experience, led to stress, anxiety, a feeling of helplessness in all. After writing brief introduction of your topic, you will do the analysis of the data collected and will write summary note. In this example, outcome of the first questionnaire based on the problem impact of COVID-19 on school-going and college-going students is as follow. There are more than 2.2 billion children in the world who constitute approximately 28% of the world's population. Hence, they form an important part of our world and our future. It has been indicated that compared to adults, this pandemic may continue to have increased long-term adverse consequences on children and adolescents. Teenage is an important period for oneself development and people learn a lot of things in this phase. However, COVID-19 was like a bouncer for everyone, especially adolescents, as they spent an important period of their lives being locked indoors. But a coin has two sides, hence this research enabled us to study both of these sides. Impact of COVID-19 on mental health from a psychiatrist's view. Clinically, pandemic and lockdown has brought about a sense of fear and anxiety around the globe. This phenomenon has led to short-term as well as long-term psychosocial and mental health implications for children and adolescents. For this research, we interviewed a practicing consultant psychiatrist who stated that the pandemic has caused a spike in the number of mental disorders being reported as a generalized anxiety disorder, clinical depression, eating disorders among adults, to name few. Impact of COVID-19 on mental health from a child psychologist's view. For our research, we interviewed a child psychologist who is also a parent to develop and gain an insight as to how the pandemic been for the primary classes and preteens in general. In young children and adolescents, the pandemic and lockdown have a greater impact on emotional and social development compared to that in the grown-ups. In one of the preliminary studies during the ongoing pandemic, it was found younger children age group 3 to 6 were more likely to manifest symptoms of clinginess and the fear of family members being infected than older children. Once the analysis is done and you have written your report, you will conclude your report. You may start with a good quote. Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam rightly said, difficulties in your life do not come to destroy you, but to help you realize your hidden potential and power. Let difficulties know that you too are difficult. This pandemic has brought the humanity more closer, made us value relationships, time, kindness, love, compassion, gratitude, and most of all, do not take anything for granted. It has drastically impacted our economics, health structure, social cultural system, educational system, etc. But it made us resilient and taught us countless lessons through it. It made people aware of their physical and mental health and made them prioritize health over any wealth. We are sure that as we move on through this pandemic, we will strive to become more responsible to relations, time, health, education, and most importantly, our planet. Next page will be group reflection. Project reflection is all about writing down the insights you got, your learning, your thoughts, and reaction to the new experience you gained while doing your research, how it changed, and how it might relate to the future experiences. You should also mention how it has helped in enhancing your listening and speaking skills. Group Reflection by Tanu Singh. I couldn't agree more with John C. Maxwell when he said, teamwork gives you the best opportunity to turn your vision into reality. This project enabled both Uma and I to work as a team collectively and conduct our comprehensive research. We started by choosing a topic which was both significant in these testing times and one which helped us prepare for the future too. Then we shortlisted the candidates we required for our interview-based research. We had to make sure that the people we finalized had to be both laymen like us and also experts who could guide us more on how we can cope up with the modern day issues like anxiety, stress, etc. Uma and I had to conduct several rounds of discussion by Google Meet to decide how we have to proceed with our project and go about it. It also helped us to develop listening and speaking skills to speak in a fluent way and explain the written material to the third person. Like this, all the team members will write their reflections individually and will attach it in the project file. Moving forward, next page will consist of collage or photo journey and evidences to support your research work. You can see that I have pasted few photographs clicked while conducting various activities. Children, if you want, you can use quotations or one-liners as a captions for your collage. Last page will be the bibliography. It is the listing of the reference books, magazines, and internet resources that you have used in designing, carrying out, and understanding your project. With this, we come to the end of this lecture on ALS for Term 2. I hope your doubts regarding ALS is cleared now. If you still have any queries, feel free to drop a comment or your question in the comment box and I will get back to you. Like, share and subscribe English Tutorials by Poonam Thakur.